All right, no corny intro, no none of that. And by the way, oh yeah, sorry for the bland background. I'm redoing the man cave, so I took down a Kobe picture y'all used to. I'm about to turn this into a real man cave, and it's gonna look dope. But that's besides the point. The point is, the Alabama season is officially over, and I think it goes without being said to all my Bama fans out there. We know this. It was a interesting season to say the least, and I mean I could make this a 2 hour, 3 hour long video just talking about everything from the start to finish. The way I thought the season was going to go and the way it actually went, two different I couldn't imagine the season happening the way it did. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season we were going to lose to Brian Kelly and LSU, I'd have said you lost your mind. If you would have told me we would have lost to Tennessee, I'd have said, I can see that. Hendon Hooker, dark horse Heisman contender. I like Josh Heupel, but losing to LSU, it's almost inconceivable to think about. And here we are. I'm going to talk about the game that just happened. Kansas State, it's wrapping up as when I'm speaking. I don't know what the final score is going to wind up being. But Alabama pretty much has made this a 30-point game. It wasn't even close. Outside the first quarter, it was 10-0, and everybody got scared. Alabama dominated. Am I, as an Alabama fan, happy that we won this Sugar Bowl? We dominated Kansas State? No, not really. And that's what you get when you come to this channel. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm never going to try to be hyper just to be hyper for YouTube. I'm telling you how I feel all the time. I don't care. I told you guys this leading up to the game. It's why we didn't even preview it too much. I don't care about a meaningless Sugar Bowl. Maybe to Kansas State fans, this is a big-time game. But to Alabama fans, it's not. Now, don't get it twisted. Am I excited and was I happy to see Alabama having fun, looking like the Alabama I thought they would all throughout the season? Yes, of course. I love to win just as much as anybody else. But at the end of the day, it's a Sugar Bowl. Let me put it this way. Am I going to tell my kids in 10 to 15, 20 years about the time Alabama beat Kansas State in the 2022 Sugar Bowl? No, I'm going to forget about this game in 8 to 10 years. That's just how it is. I do want to keep this short and sweet. All in all, on the bright side of things, we finished the year strong. We ended on a win streak. It could have been worse. We could have ended like LSU did. We could have ended like Ole Miss did. We finished the year on, I don't know how many games it was. We won a couple games in a row. We're going to wind up finishing 11-2. It was a good year, but that's the thing at Bama, and I don't want to say it's too much. Y'all know how it is. At Bama, it's not good enough to be good. You got to be great and you got to be elite. The reality of this Bama team is, and there's levels to it, you got your average teams, your slightly above average teams, your good teams, your really good teams, your great teams, and your elite teams. There's a bunch of different levels, and I would say this Alabama team, not just in the Kansas State game, but for the entire season, it was a good team. Wasn't even really good. It was just a good team. And I know some Alabama fans, you're not going to like that. You're going to say, well, Matt, we beat the Big 12 champs by 30 points. And yes, that's just one game. You got to look at the season as an entire unit. And when you do that, we weren't even really good. We're just good. We're lucky to be 11-2. The last thing I'm going to say about this game is it is a nice little momentum builder heading into the offseason because, well, duh, you're ending the season on a win. Everybody's got good spirits. And number two, we got the number one recruiting class in the country. I was happy to see Bryce Young and, Will Anderson to give it one last go. That was cool to see because nowadays you got all these players opting out left and right. So I did enjoy watching them play. And now that I'm thinking about it, man, can't believe it. We're not going to get to watch Bryce Young play anymore. What a blessing it's been. I told you guys this year and last year. Without Bryce Young, not just this year, but last year as well, this Alabama football team, you're looking at a 7-5, 8-4 team. We're going to miss them next year. No matter who plays quarterback and no matter how good they do, it's going to be hard to top Bryce Young. He's the only Alabama quarterback to ever win the Heisman Trophy. I don't have too much more to say about this game, though. It's a win. I'll just say that. It's a win. The only bright side about this is, as an Alabama fan, when you win, you don't get clowned. When you lose, you get clowned. It is what it is. Now, before I end out this video, I do want to speak on this a little bit. We got TCU and Michigan coming up in just a second. What about old Dabo Swinney, the fraud? Can't believe they lost to It's not, okay, I can't believe they lost to Tennessee. It's more so of I can't believe how they lost to Tennessee. Tennessee didn't have their Heisman quarterback. Didn't have, what's his name? Oh, yeah. Jalen Hyatt, he had 5 touchdowns against Alabama. Tennessee didn't have their star players, and yet they beat Clemson by 17. Here's a fun fact for you. Dabo Swinney, in his last 5 games against the SEC, 1-4. 1-4. You can do what you want with that information. Man, Clemson just... I don't want to say they're falling off because they're in the ACC, the Cupcake Conference, maybe now the worst conference in college football with the Pac-12 on the rise. But Clemson does not look like that elite team. Like, even with Alabama in a down year, nobody wants to play Alabama. You go ask Georgia and Michigan fans, they don't want to play Alabama. But I don't think Georgia and Michigan fans would be scared to play Clemson, if that makes sense. And also, they're never in the top 5 in recruiting. So, I'm not saying Clemson's falling off, but I don't think they're this elite powerhouse like they once were in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. That run, the glory days, over with. And one last thing I wanted to touch. Oh, yeah, that South Carolina Notre Dame game. What about that game, man? I mean, that was the most Spencer Rattler game ever. That's just how South Carolina games go. That's all I got. I'm sure I'll make a video talking about... Well, we'll probably make maybe 2 more videos. Just let me know if y'all... Actually, we'll leave it up to that. If y'all want me to talk about the TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia game, get my live reaction, drop a comment down below. I'm going to be tweeting during the games. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Y'all peace.